And down goes Lins. Francis Ngannou, the hardest hitter in MMA.
I'd be remiss if I don't ask you this. During your fight, sitting right over there, was Johnny Bones Jones. Do you think he wants to fight you?
I believe so, but I think he's caged. He doesn't know how to get out of the cage yet. He doesn't know where's the hole in the cage.
And how would that go if you did fight? How would it go?
Fighting out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, by way of Endicott, New York, presenting the reigning, defending, undisputed UFC light heavyweight champion of the world, Jon Jones!
This guy's got a lot of demons, man. A lot of demons.
He's caged. He doesn't know how to get out of the cage yet.
Ngannou said Jones is caged. He meant the UFC contract. But the cage that held Jon Jones his entire life was built long before Dana White ever got involved. It was built in a church in Binghamton, New York. Jon Jones's father was a pastor, not a casual Sunday morning pastor. Arthur Jones runs Mount Sinai Church of God in Christ in Binghamton, New York, a Pentecostal church.
God so loved the world that he gave his only son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life.
That means the devil is real. Spiritual warfare is real. And in that house, God was not a concept. God was a daily presence. Arthur told the Christian Post in 2012, I wanted him to preach. His son became the most dangerous man on earth instead. Then Carmen died, John's older sister, brain tumor, before her 18th birthday. Carmen was the one that held the family together, the one who watched over the boys. John got Philippians 4:13 tattooed across his chest. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
You're a religious person, but you have a tattoo.
Right.
You have a religious tattoo, which is double ironic.
Well, you know, I got a tattoo on my chest that says Philippians 4:13, which means I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength.
As it says in the Bible, not to get tattooed.
Right, not to mess with the temple. Right.
But then you gotta
pick and choose, right? What you want to listen to.
He named his daughter Carmen, and every time he stepped into that octagon bare-chested, that tattoo was visible. That is not a decoration. That is a wound wearing a scripture as a bandage. Now, two brothers. Because the Jones family is not one story, it is three stories that break your heart in three completely different ways. Arthur III, defensive lineman for the Baltimore Ravens, Super Bowl champion in 2016, suspended by the NFL for PED violations. He died in October 2025. He was 39 years old.
Yesterday, former defensive tackle Arthur Jones also died. The county sheriff's office confirmed that Jones had a pre-existing heart condition. His doctor's office was alerted yesterday morning when his pacemaker went off, but by the time EMS arrived at his house in Pompey, Jones had already passed away.
Chandler Jones, four-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champion. In 2023, he went into a public mental health crisis.
And much of what happened when Chandler Jones walked into the Foxborough police station on Sunday morning is still a mystery. This situation, according to a Foxborough police dispatch log, was a medical emergency involving Patriots player Chandler Jones.
In the front lobby area, confused party.
He was evaluated by EMS staff. They determined he needed to be transported to Norwood Hospital.
Three brothers from one pastor's house. One dead, one in crisis, and one who became the greatest fighter alive, who cannot stop getting arrested. There's a version of grief that doesn't announce itself as grief. It doesn't look like sadness, it looks like recklessness. Because when you lose someone who held the rules of your world together, the rules stop feeling real. And when the rules stop feeling real, you stop feeling like they apply to you. Before we go any further, you need to understand what Jon Jones actually is inside that cage. Because if you don't understand the genius, the destruction doesn't make sense.
He was an eager student. You know, Jon just wanted to learn. Very big imaginations. Very eager to be the guy.
Jon's got his head. He's got a choke. Leona's in trouble.
So super ambitious.
Very ambitious.
Curious. Was he humble?
Yeah, he was humble. He was humble,
confident.
But confident.
It's all over. Jon Jones remains the UFC
When you're fighting guys like Jones, he's so tall, he's so rangy, and he just understood fighting. The guy just understands fighting.
At 23 years and 243 days, Jon Jones became the youngest UFC champion in history. That is a Guinness World Record. It still stands. He invented the oblique kick, a technique so dangerous that Vitor Belfort blamed it for a chronic knee injury. Multiple fighters have called it an intentional knee-breaking attempt. It's perfectly legal, and nobody throws it with the precision that Jon Jones does.
And when you fought him, he was oblique kicking the shit out of you.
I know, man. What? Shit, I trained for that shit too. For me, it was just hard to defend.
His eye pokes, which refs and opponents have complained about for 15 years, are not accidents. The extended finger stance is a deliberate rangefinder. It is chess with your fingertips.
When I fought him, whenever I was like have any type of advantage, he'll put his fingers in my eyes.
Jon Jones is a freak of all freaks. I mean, he has a unique aptitude for MMA. His fight IQ was above and beyond everyone's, and he would study tape meticulously.
Well, that spinning kick that he did to that
Stipe Miocic.
Yeah. Oh yeah, here it is.
Right
Watch this.
He sets him up. Boom! He's the most meticulous.
That is not a talented fighter. That is a philosopher of violence.
He's going to be 38 years old this summer. He looked incredible. I just don't know how any of you don't see that this guy's the fucking greatest fighter in the history of fucking people fighting.
And then there is everything else. 1 month before his DWI, 1 month, Jon Jones told MMA Weekly, "You never have to worry about me with the DWI or doing something crazy." 1 month later, 5:02 in the morning, his Bentley wrapped around a utility pole in Binghamton. 2 passengers, slurred speech, refused the sobriety test. The city where his father's church still stands.
Jon Bones Jones was arrested and charged with a DWI early Saturday morning. Binghamton police received reports of a car crashed into the corner of Grand Boulevard and Helen Street around 5 a.m. Saturday morning. Police told Action News that Jon Jones was on the scene and it was his 2012 Bentley that had crashed into a telephone pole at the corner.
April 2015, Albuquerque. He runs a red light and T-bones a car.
With new trouble this morning for a mixed martial arts champion. UFC star Jon Jones turned himself into police overnight.
The fighter allegedly ran a red light while driving a rented Buick SUV last month. Police say the accident ignited a 3-car collision.
He crashed his car, injured a pregnant woman.
Is facing possible felony charges.
Witnesses watch him flee on foot, then stop.
Jones came back, grabbing a large wad of cash before taking off again and jumping a fence.
He left a pregnant woman with a broken arm, but he went back for the cash? That detail tells you more about this man's psychology than any fight film ever could. July 2016, 3 days before UFC 200, the biggest card of the year, he tests positive for clomiphene and letrozole. These were estrogen blockers. They are what you take after a steroid cycle to restore your natural hormone levels. His defense? A contaminated Cialis tablet that a teammate gave him 4 days before the test. USADA's general counsel, under oath, said this: the whole story told by the protagonists lacked the clear ring of truth and had rather the indistinct sound of contrivance. The panel accepted the story but ruled his fault, quote, verged on reckless. Dana White's response? Greatest talent ever and the biggest screw-up ever. Dana White said that about his own champion. May 2017, the UFC summer kickoff press conference. DC is on stage. He looks at Jones and says,
Is this guy gonna mess this up again by doing steroids or snorting cocaine or sandblasting prostitutes? What's this guy gonna do? What's this guy gonna do to mess this up this time?
Jon Jones responds,
I beat you after a weekend of cocaine.
Bleacher reports Jonathan Snowden was in that room. He wrote, a palpable hush came over the Texas crowd. Nobody could help but wonder, what's the matter with this guy? 2 months later, Jon Jones knocks DC out cold at UFC 214.
He's just having a hard time reaching Jon. Oh, Jon landed a high kick. He's hurt. DC was stunned by that head kick. Here comes Johnny Bones with the ground and pound. Cormier. That could be it. Trying to survive. That's it. He's out. He's out.
Jon Jones has done it. Jon Jones is back. And he is the new UFC light heavyweight champion.
then tests positive for turinabol, the steroid from the East German state doping program. The KO is overturned to a no contest. DC's Instagram post, "You're a cheater and a snitch." Here is something the psychology literature is very clear on. Self-sabotage is not stupidity. It's an unconscious loyalty to the version of yourself you were before things got good. You got the titles, the record, the legacy, but some part of your nervous system, the part trained in your childhood to treat stability as suspicious, that part doesn't believe you deserve it, so it detonates. Not because you want to fail, because succeeding feels like betraying the version of you that learned how to survive by expecting the worst. That's not a Jon Jones problem, that's a human problem. Jon Jones is just doing it on the largest stage possible, with cameras and USADA and the world watching. February 8th, 2020, UFC 247, Jon Jones versus Dominic Reyes. The judges scored it 48-47, 48-47, and 49-46, all Jones. The 49-46 judge, Joe Solis, Joe Rogan live on broadcast called that card insane.
For anyone to think that was 4-1 Jon Jones, that person's insane. You're insane.
Post-fight media poll, 14 of 21 media outlets present scored it for Reyes. Dana White told ESPN,
My kids are terrorizing me that the fix is in and how can this happen, Dad? Reyes won that fight.
The official Texas Commission scorecard was initially marked majority draw, then corrected. 67% of the media scored it for Reyes. The GOAT escaped on a scorecard. Reyes still says he won. He's not wrong.
I do feel disrespected, you know. One of the judges had it 49-46. Like, who are you? I might want to have a word with you. But other than that, man, I know I won that fight. I know I won that fight. I feel like I'm the people's champ.
After the Reyes fight, Jon Jones vacated his light heavyweight title, spent 3 years in the wilderness, returned at UFC 285, submitted Cyril Gane in 2 minutes and 4 seconds, then fought Stipe Miocic, a 42-year-old who hadn't competed in nearly 4 years. Tom Aspinall, the interim champion, whose entire title reign consisted of 2 minutes and 9 seconds of cage time, never got the call. September 24th, 2021, the UFC Hall of Fame induction for his first fight with Alexander Gustafsson, one of the greatest fights in the history of the sport. Hours later, Caesar's Palace, 5:45 in the morning. The 911 call obtained by MMA Fighting begins like this.
We've got a possible domestic violence call. Female is bleeding from the nose and mouth. She's down with us while the male is up at the room, and he's actually a professional MMA fighter, Jonathan Jones.
Fiancé Jesse Moses had gone to the front desk asking for a key. Their 3 daughters were in the room. When officers detained Jones, he smashed his head on the hood of the patrol car, denting the metal, chipping the paint. He threatened a lawsuit, then broke down crying.
No, please don't. Car. Oh, please don't, guys. Guys, please don't.
He told officers, "I never hit my fiancé." Jesse Moses, speaking to an officer, asked one question: "How long do I have until he is out?" The hardest thing about watching someone you love self-destruct is the math. You keep calculating, if I stay, maybe I can save them. If I leave, maybe they die. And you never know which equation is right. Jesse Moses had been doing that math since high school. February 2025, Albuquerque. APD responds to a crash. In the passenger seat, a woman lacking clothing from the waist down.
UFC champion Jon Jones is back in legal trouble. Just days after announcing his retirement, Jones is facing new criminal charges. When police showed up, it wasn't Jones they found at the scene.
First responders check out a woman sitting in a crashed sedan. Right away, they learn
she said she has no pants. No pants. My friend is Jon Jones.
Jones had fled on foot again. Bodycam audio released to the Albuquerque Journal captured the voice the woman identified as Jones on her phone after the crash.
Jones makes cryptic remarks.
They don't waste their cases with just killing you or petty crimes. But they definitely listen to conversations like this, and some of them are bored enough to kill you.
4 months later, Jones is facing 2 misdemeanor charges, leaving the scene of an accident and making threats over the phone.
The charge was filed June 17, 2025. Jon Jones announced his retirement on June 21st. Per the Albuquerque Journal, the charge was only discovered publicly after the retirement was announced. The charge was later dropped. The audio exists. And then, May 16th, 2026, Into a Dome, the greatest fighter alive at a rival promotion's broadcast desk, watching the man he was supposed to fight 3 years ago knock someone unconscious. And Ngannou looks at the desk and says it plainly.
He's caged. He doesn't know how to get out of the cage yet.
We all have that version of this. Maybe your cage isn't a UFC contract or a police record. Maybe it's the story you keep telling yourself about who you are. The one that was written for you before you could choose. The kid who was told they would never amount to anything. The person who learned that love comes with conditions. The one who was taught early that the safest thing to do with hope is to kill it before it kills you. Jon Jones's cage has a name. Yours might not have a name yet, but you know it's there. Ngannou asked him that question in that cage in Inglewood. I'm asking you the same thing now. Do you know how to get out?